Well, hello and welcome to our latest edition of Choice Chats with the Tennessee Federation for Children. I am Shaka Mitchell and I'm our state director here. And for those of you who have watched some of these chats before on Facebook or maybe streaming online elsewhere, you know that one of the things that we are trying to do is highlight some of the bright spots in education that are happening in our state. Despite all that 2020 has brought us, and this will be a year that none of us ever forget. There are lots of really interesting things happening in education. There are lots of schools, educators, and parents who have found new ways to educate their students, new ways to bring high quality education to kids who need it most. And so today I'm really excited to introduce you, if you don't know the school, to the Bodine School. So Bodine School in the Memphis area is actually a school that's really appropriate today because we are recognizing Dyslexia Month. And Bodine is a school where 100% of the students served are diagnosed with dyslexia. And so I want to welcome John Murphy, who is the head of school there. And John, just thanks for being on the show. Would love for you to introduce the school. Give us the 30 seconds. What's your school about and who do you serve?
Yes, thank you, Shaka, for having us on your show. We are an elementary school, grades 1 through 6, and we serve children with dyslexia. And our goal is we are a transition school, so we want to help these children to learn to become better readers and better writers, and then go on to be successful at their next school, which varies from private schools to public schools to homeschooling. We have a range of where these children end up going on to be successful.
Awesome. And how long has Bodine School been operating?
We have been operating since 1972.
Okay, great. Yeah. So at this point, 40 plus years, almost 50 years of serving students and with this same mission. I think it's really interesting, and we want to talk some more about that, what that transition looks like. And so maybe it's a good time to introduce Sherry James, who's the Director of Student Services and Transition. So Sherry, tell us your role and how you got connected to Bodine.
So this is my 10th year at Bodine School. The first 8 years I served in the classroom as a teacher for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And then for the last 2 years, I've been in my current role as an administrator. I do primarily help with the transition process, which just means that we help families to identify when their child might be ready to rejoin their school of choice. And we have a protocol that we follow to help them to know if their child is ready. And then we help to plug them into other area schools that they're interested in.
Yeah, so I've got to think that means that you are sort of maintaining some relationships maybe with other educators at other schools, or kind of, does that mean you keep a sense for what's happening in other schools to be able to kind of guide parents to say, hey, this school might be one in your area that works well, or that sort of thing?
Yes, absolutely. So our students have different needs and the parents have different focus. So sometimes parents are looking for a school of a specific faith or schools in a specific area. And so we have to stay plugged in and connected with the schools and know what they can offer for our students. And we try to make sure that the school that they go to can accommodate them and meet their needs, not only as a dyslexic, but as the whole child, and serve them in a way that will be beneficial to them and their families.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, I want to introduce our third, I guess, panelist. I guess we still call these panels, even though they're virtual, and we're in kind of a four-square rectangle now. So our fourth rectangulist is Harriet Michael, and Harriet is on the board at Bodine, but more importantly, Harriet, you are a parent. You've got a student who's there. So I'd love to know how you got connected. Which came first, the sort of chicken or the egg in your relationship with Bodine?
Well, it's interestingly enough, my son has been there since the end of fall break of his 1st grade year, and now we're coming up for fall break this week of his 4th grade year. So we were fortunate enough at his 1st grade school. He was at a private school. They pulled my husband and I aside and said, hey, we think, this was even before, the first conference of the year, they identified there's concerns with him of potential dyslexia and recommended, hey, let's go get some testing at Bodine, just go meet with them. And it was an amazing experience. My son came in, met with them, and I remember the day very clearly when Mr. Murphy called and said, hey, Graham meets all the qualifications, we can take him as soon as you want him. And it was just that shock of, oh my goodness, wait, what just happened to my child? And of course, nothing happened to him. It's just me understanding how his brain functions and coming to terms and accepting that and realizing, okay, life's going to be a little bit different. He's not a normal learner, which now knowing about dyslexia and having that awareness, he hits all the markers, and going back to when he was 2 or 3 years old. And it's amazing to be able to see when you know what to look for, that those signs are there. And so I'm very thankful for Bodine. He is in his 4th grade year, and he is finally starting to like to read. And so, yeah, he's not at grade level, which is absolutely fine. But if he wants a Dogman book, I am buying a Dogman book. Whatever he's interested in reading, I will go and get, because he now finally is interested in reading.
Yeah. What do you think? Because it sounds like you had to go on your own educational journey with him, right? What's something that you remember, or maybe now you can look back and think was kind of a misconception, maybe about that people may have? Because we're going to have a lot of people who are watching this either right now or will watch later who don't know much about dyslexia, and so what's a misconception that we may have that's out there?
The kids aren't lazy. And I think a lot of people just think that the kids are lazy. They're not trying. They're just goofing off. And that's really not it. And we never thought that of our son. I remember saying in, pre-K and kindergarten, hey, just push him. He just needs to be pushed. And it was one of those, oh, well, hey, even this morning we had the conversation. He said something about, what month is it? And I'm like, you know what month it is? And I said, what comes after September? And he was saying, I don't know. And I said, what comes before November? And I said, are you just picking with me? Or are you struggling? And he was very honest. He goes, I'm struggling, Mom. And I was like, okay, well, let's start back June, July, August, September. And then he's like, oh yeah, October. And, little things like that. It's not that he's being lazy or cute. It's he's having a recall issue of that information. So to me, it's that misconception. And one very beneficial thing that I learned is holding a dyslexic student back a year is one of the worst things that you can do to them. It's not going to benefit that child to just hold them back a year. And I know a lot of people, that's their initial reaction of, oh, they're just lazy, they're not mature. Well, no, they are. It's just that they're having processing issues. And when you go through having, your IPE and you understand how their brain functions and really kind of do a deep dive into that, you can understand, hey, this is where my child struggles. This is where I can help them. Or, you know what, this is never going to change. This is the way his brain is hardwired in processing information, and that's okay. So I do need to allow him extra time. He's a very smart child. He's not lazy. He's not dumb. It's just that little bit of processing. But I tell you, there are things that he can see and do and create that I could never do. And so his brain really does amaze me. And I think that that's a big misconception, is that they're extremely bright people and they think a little bit differently. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. John, so you're seeing, I don't know, dozens of new students every year. Would that be accurate to say?
We average, I've been here, this is my 5th year here at Bodine, and we average over that time 7 students a year. New.
7 students. Yeah.
They start anytime from several weeks into the semester to, end of January, early February. That's typically when we stop taking them for the entire year. Every case is different, but that's our usual pattern there. But yes, 7 has been our average.
And so how big is the school though total?
We have 84 students. We have no more than 10 students in a section, and we have 10 sections. First grade, they need more attention, so we only have 8 capacity in first grade. Okay, and so, but the other classes are no more than 10 with a teacher, and then we have other staff that work with them. We have a BIRDS program, a language study program. We have art and music and PE, iLab, library. So so they have that traditional school experience, but our main focus is language arts and math.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
And well, and I love that right out the gate, you talked about really instilling a love of reading. I think there's a lot of commentary right now in sort of the education policy space about, frankly, the lack of literacy skills that we see in a lot of our schools. In the Memphis area, I know that in Shelby County schools, only about 1 in 5 students is on grade level in English language arts. And I've got to think we see a lot of either undiagnosed issues or diagnoses, but maybe not enough support, for those students. I wonder, what do you think is a difference? I mean, we heard a little bit from Harriet, but John, if you're talking to a family coming from, say, a Shelby County schools, a public school system, what's something that you say to them, say, hey, here's why I think we might be a good spot to kind of get your student, invested in a new way?
Yeah, well, I came from a very good traditional school here in Memphis, a private school. Yeah. I was the principal there for 28 years. So I know what a good elementary school looks like. And what we say is that our key to success here is the focus. We have an hour of language fundamentals, which is based on the principles of Orton Gillingham. We have an hour of math. We have an hour of reading, and we have an hour of writing. And then we work in social studies and science into those areas, right? We do not have a formal social studies or science or a foreign language, so it's really amazing, and I love it. Our key here is focus, that we focus on those fundamentals that these children especially need. And Shaka, to your point, that is a problem in elementary education, meaning a lack of focus on the fundamentals. I feel like that would help. Sherry James has taught us a lot about her knowledge of structured literacy, right? And she can speak to the need to teach children in a certain way, dyslexic and non-dyslexic.
Well, to speak to that, Shaka, I would say 1 in 5 students is struggling or behind in reading, primarily because for many reasons, but one reason is they might not have a good phonics foundation. We're very deliberate in our phonics teaching here. We start at the very basic letter level, and we gradually increase those skills. A lot of times in other schools, the students are kind of pushed through that part so that they can get to the literature part, when they might not have that fundamental foundation of the actual phonics. So it makes it really difficult for them to grab a hold of the contextual writing when they don't have that foundation. There might also be just a lack of available literature in the home or around that student, or just a lack of practice. So there are many reasons why a student might struggle, but 1 in 5 of them is probably dyslexic. So I think you mentioned that many of them are probably dyslexic, and you're absolutely right. There are many, many undiagnosed dyslexics in our community, and we're trying to help reach those people.
Yeah, well, I mean, the the note earlier, I think maybe Harriet said that one misconception is that maybe students aren't trying hard enough. And boy, what a tragic thing that would be. I mean, I just think about how many students that might be. How many students we might say just are slacking off, or lack focus, or what have you, and aren't properly diagnosed. Well, I want to pivot for a second, and John or Sherry, as school administrators, and actually maybe Harriet, even you put on your board member hat. So I'd love to know. Obviously, part of the reason we started this whole chat series is because we're so remote. We're so distanced, and we're unable to do these things in person and visit with one another. So are you back in school physically? Do you have kids in school? And if yes or if no, what were some of the decision points that you guys have been thinking about as you make that decision? It's something we're struggling with around the state. So we'd love to know how things are right now. John, you want to start? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we are back in school. This is day 40 for us, and we're so far we've been live. We have 3 children. Their parents chose to go virtual, so we have Teams view camera units in every room, and those children participate virtually. They participate in 4 hours of the day live with their class virtually, if you will, and then the rest of the children are here live. We built our plan on just the real basic pillars of mask. We wear masks unless we're outside or unless we're having snack or lunch. We wash our hands. Everybody's hands are chapped and dry and raw. No, we have hand sanitizer everywhere.
I've got mine right here. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also try as much as we can to stay, physically distant when we're walking through the halls or when we're and those are our 3 pillars that we really try to build on. It was crazy. Sherry is part of our administrative team, and so and Reese Doherty is our principal. We spent the whole spring and summer just going back and forth and back and forth, and so we landed on these pillars, which I think a lot of schools and places are using. We scan temperatures in the morning, before they come in. They go to wash their hands immediately when they get in. So once again, we're just trying to do what we know we can do, right? Some things are impossible, Shaka, like trying to separate 6 feet. I mean, I'll just be honest, that would take 100 square feet if you do your math. A equals pi r squared, the area of a circle. You'd need 100 square feet for every person, and that's a little excessive. So anyway, but we try. I think we're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Sherry is our COVID czar, is what we call her. So she's in charge of all things COVID. All the reports go to her. So she might want to speak to that for a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to add anything to that? I mean, we've done a few of these now, and we're always hearing there's always something that's just a lesson learned where maybe some administrator says, hey, we started doing this because of COVID, and we actually might like this part of it, or maybe here's something that was in your original plan that you looked good on paper and you kind of iterated. Yeah, how's the experience been for you so far?
Well, and one way that our plan has changed, first of all, I think our plan is going as perfectly as it could possibly go. So far, I'm knocking on my wooden table. We have had 0 COVID in our building. And we have a very dedicated staff that is following the protocols very, very nicely. Our parents are following the protocols. One thing that we did change early on is originally we had said that we were going to do a symptom screen at the door, a series of questions about symptoms. And we realized that was fairly cumbersome because we ended up with a long line of cars. We don't have buses. We just have our parents drop off the kids. And it was very difficult to efficiently get the students into the building when they had to go through all of this screening. So we did make that adjustment very early on, where we just post our symptoms all over the place on our social media and our weekly bulletins, and we post those symptoms, and we ask parents to be faithful in making sure each day that their students do not have those symptoms. And then when they come in, they have to be screened with temperature. So we did let that part drop. And then as far as the part that we might keep, I don't know if there's anything permanent that we'll keep with our changes, except for we really have enjoyed the extra sinks for hand washing. We've enjoyed the extra hand sanitizer stations that are all around the building. We use our water bottle fillers a lot because the water fountains are closed.
Yeah.
But just the new technology that we've all become used to now, that we're so accustomed to, things like this, things that our students are using, our teachers are using, we'll probably continue to utilize those in different ways, even far beyond COVID.
Yeah, yeah. And Harriet, how has the experience been, or how do you think it's been for students? I mean, you've got a student who's old enough to probably have some opinions about all of it. How does he find it?
It's very interesting. I don't think we've all had temperatures taken this much ever in our lives. Before we leave the house every morning, everybody gets their temperature taken. And both my kids at two different schools get their temperature taken before they out of the car, which I think is fantastic. And I do enjoy that they both, or my son washes his hands when he gets into school. Definitely something worthwhile in keeping. Just agree with Sherry about hand sanitizing, hand washings. He's fine with it. What I do love, though, is because we did go virtual so quickly in the spring. Yesterday, he walked into my home office. I was on a conference call, and he's now used to Teams himself. And he's like, "Oh, there's 4 people on your call, Mom." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I was asked to stay on. 2 people dropped, and he's like, "Now it's only 1." And it was so funny. I'm like, he would never have known had it not been for all of this, what Teams looks like, how to use, a headset and to mute and different things. He was not the biggest fan of virtual learning. But I think it was because just, it's something new, scary, different. I think especially for dyslexics, it's very important to be in person for that multisensory experience. And knock on wood, if we can get through tomorrow, we've met my goal for the year of, hey, can we at least get to fall break in person? And after that, if we need to go virtual, that's okay. So if we get through tomorrow, it's a win for the school year for me.
Good. Well, congratulations. And I think it's great that, that you've been able to, that your school's been able to keep kids and faculty safe, right? I mean, that's got to be a top priority. And obviously you can't do school if you don't have talented adults, and certainly if you don't have students. So I think it's great that everybody seems to be safe. John, I'm swinging away from COVID again, and just thinking more about your school model, thinking more about the fact that this is Dyslexia Month. What do you think well, I guess my question is, why aren't there more Bodine schools, given the fact that I would say in Tennessee, we've got a reading crisis? If Sherry's numbers are, and I'll take them on faith at this point, but if Sherry's numbers are right, that we've got that many students who may be undiagnosed, and we know that our percentage of students who can read on grade level, it's not that 1 in 5 have trouble. It's that only 1 in 5 are on grade level in the Memphis area, right? I mean, it's pretty dire. Why aren't there more Bodine schools? And I'm not putting that on you, by the way, to say you've got to replicate, but it seems like that targeted intervention would be, especially in the younger grades, the younger years, would be really valuable.
Well, yeah, the numbers are accurate, Shock. I mean, I think the low number, and this is all research, the low number of the population is 10%, and the high number is 20% of the people in the world have some form of dyslexia, right? And so, yes, there's a need for Bodines just in Shelby County alone. If you looked at the population of Shelby County schools, then you would have 10 to 20,000 of those children are dyslexic, right?
Yeah.
And so, we serve 84. I think I think it would be a great model for a charter school, to start up. Some of the drawbacks, if you want to look at some of the difficulties, we maintain a very homogeneous population. So our children, their primary learning difference is dyslexia, right? We don't have any children that have other learning differences or other, say, mental health issues, things that overwhelm the dyslexia, if you will. So we stay very pure in that sense. And that's not always easy because there's a lot of needs. Children have a lot of needs out there right now. And so that's one thing. Staying pure allows us to meet our mission these children are all mission appropriate. They're able to do the work that we ask them to do, and they're able to remediate their dyslexia. But yes, and then some of the problems in the schools are just general problems, as Sherry spoke to. We think phonics instruction are just key for all children, and dyslexic or not, we think that that's key to their fundamental years of learning to read and write. So that's something that we also support, if you will, is the push toward having the term is structured literacy, right? Where we really support that in schools. I mean, and a simpler word for it might be phonics instruction, very basic instruction. So yeah.
Sherry, in thinking about as you are working with families as their students are transitioning out, and it sounds like that can happen not just in the highest grade, but that can happen kind of when they're ready, right?
Yes.
What are some of the things that you evaluate? Because we may have some parents who are watching who are thinking, hey, how do I know? What do I need to be thinking about if I'm thinking of a school change? So what are some of the things you suggest kind of taking into account?
Well, we actually have a rubric that we go through with the parents, and it includes things that are academic in nature and also things that are more character-based. We look at obviously the reading level. Can they read at or near grade level? I mean, if they're slightly below grade level, they'll probably be okay moving forward, but they should at least be close to their grade level. We look at their spelling. We look at their speed of decoding ability, their ability to, how quickly can they read a passage at grade level, words per minute, basically. But beyond the academics, we look at them as a child. We look at them as a student. So when they come to us, they've had, you heard a little bit from Harriet that they have experienced failure before they get here. They've experienced a lot of stress and struggle and anxiety. So when they get to us, they have a lot of internal battle with their anxiety, and a lot of times they don't really believe in themselves. So we build them up here, and we don't want them to leave until they feel secure in their own abilities. We try to establish very strong habits as far as staying organized as a student. We work on them with time management. We work on them with, how to structure their nightly homework and how to get that done in a way that, will be beneficial to them as a student. We teach them how to study, how to take notes. So we just want to give them what we say as many tools in their tool belts as possible, so that when they leave here, they have everything they need to just function and be successful no matter where they go. So we go through all of those things with the parent, and if we see a lot of gaps, we might tell the parent, we think we could help them out a little bit more here, and we recommend that they stay. And then it's up to the parent at that point, but we try to guide them as best that we can.
Yeah. Well, what I love about it is that it seems to be really student centric, and having a rubric, right? Having a sort of a guide for how you're going to make this evaluation means that it's not John Murphy, one person sitting in an office kind of looking at the enrollment list and saying, no, we need more students, et cetera. Rather, it's taking the approach to say, hey, what's in this student's best interest? And frankly, that collaboration with parents is something that we stress. We just think is so key. And it's something that, Harriet, I'm sure, well, it sounds like you've been very engaged for a while, but I will say, I know a lot of families right now, a lot of parents are more invested in their kids' daily, educational life than they have been in years because of COVID, right? Because we've been seeing it in a new way for the past 6 months. Love to hear how student-centric it is. Sherry, thanks for sharing that with us. We are just about at time. Harriet or John, anything else to add? Anything that I forgot to ask you that you want to mention before we go?
Well, I just want to say, anybody out there that their child may be struggling with reading, to contact Bodine, and we'll try to help you. We have a tutor list if that's the right thing to do. We offer screenings for children through our Erica Center. That's our outreach program. But yeah, we're just a resource here in the city for all dyslexics. And so if you have some kind of struggle, it doesn't mean you have to go to school here. There's no obligation if you call, but we will try to help you and point you in the right direction.
I love it. And are you accepting new students now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
We still have openings in every grade but second grade.
Okay.
So just real quick, interesting. We did have a flurry of students right at the beginning of the year, and a lot of them were parents that had seen their children, just as you were saying, Shaka, had been with their children in virtual learning and had really gotten to see how their children were struggling, right? Up close and personal. So that's been an interesting process too. But yes, we do have openings, and we do a thorough screening of students before they come in, and we only want them to be here if we know we're going to be able to help them. So yeah. We're very pure in that sense. We're not just putting people in the seats, as they say, right?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, John, Sherry, Harriet. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. I always say that, frankly, I would selfishly do this for hours. You guys actually have other things to do. So we won't keep you, but I'm so appreciative. So good to learn about what's happening at Bodine, and we hope that everybody out there, hopefully learned a little more, knows a little more about dyslexia and how we might serve students with that diagnosis around the state. So John, Harriet, Sherry, thank you so much. And everybody out there, have a great day. Talk soon.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.